Hey, it's Lisa Niven-Kelly here for Beaducation.com, and today I'm going to show you how to bend a flat ring blank into a ring shape. So these are the tools that I use for this. I like to start with a wrap and tap plier. This is the large wrap and tap plier, and it's got 3 different size barrels on the plier, which is awesome because you can make 3 different really big loops. And then we're going to shape it further on the ring mandrel using our plastic mallet. These ring blanks that I'm working with today are actually aluminum. We carry them in a variety of metals, including aluminum and pewter, which is awesome because they're really soft. So really you could just put it probably on the ring mandrel and bend it around with your hand. It's soft enough to do that, and then we're going to hammer it with the plastic mallet. But I want to show you one trick that I like to do. I like to begin the shape and start it out by using the plier. I just find it's a little bit rounder and I can get those edges to curl a little bit better. So this is going to be an open back ring. So these rings that we're making are going to stay open in the back, and it's fine. They hold up really, really great, and I actually don't mind the way they look. I kind of like it. This one's going to be a regular ring with an slight opening in the back, depending on what size I want. It could touch in the back or be open a teeny bit. And this one's going to be called what we call a wrap ring. So it's going to come around and the ends are going to kind of pass each other. I'll show you that in a second. So let's start with this one. I'm going to start by using the middle step on these large wrap and tap pliers. I just think that is a nice size. It's not too big, not too small, and then I can size it and shape it from there on my ring mandrel. But what I like to do is get that little tip right in there. So just like making a basic loop, you want to have the tip of the wire within the pliers not sticking out at all, and that's going to give you a really nice curled tip. So let's just shift that so I can hold it better. And I'm going to turn my plier this way while pushing the wire against it here and just start that curl. I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay. Now you can continue to curl that if you want, or you can put it on your ring mandrel at this point. But I go up to the larger one and bring it around, maybe come to the smaller one and shape it a little bit there. And it's not going to be perfect or pretty by any means, but you can see we're on our way. See how nice that is just to start out? I'm going to bring in the ring mandrel now and slide it on the ring mandrel. So let me see if you can see this angle. Let me see if it'll focus for you. What you want to do is look right down here and see if there's any gaps. So you're sort of looking down the mandrel this way. It's sort of a bird's eye view. The camera may have a hard time focusing on that angle, but you're looking for gaps, and those gaps are what you're going to tap out with your plastic mallet. But keep in mind the size that you're hoping to have this ring. So if I wanted it to be the smallest size possible, where those 2 ends are touching, I'm going to try to keep it here on my ring mandrel, but I'm going to come around to some of these spots and round them out. So I'm holding it in kind of an awkward way so that you can see it on camera, but usually I would sort of be holding this coming out from my chest away from me and hammer it that way, maybe brace it on a table, maybe put it in a vise. Holding it in a vise is really nice. It gives it a nice grip so you can manipulate the metal. Now I definitely want to get these 2 nice and flat so that they're right flat against the mandrel. Let's see how it's looking. It's pretty straightforward. That was pretty quick. I was actually thinking I was going to have to do a lot more work. I see a little bit of a bumpy part over here, so I'm going to put that on and make sure that I get that. So when I hit it with this hammer, I'm also hardening it. So where this started as a super soft metal, it's going to harden a whole bunch by hammering it, and it's going to keep its nice ring shape at the size that you set it. So as I'm hitting it, I'm turning the ring. Up here, I might want to just pinch that in. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Let me get a close-up for you. So the only other manipulation that I need to do here is it's kind of off this way. So I'm either going to put it on and hammer this down a little bit. That worked really nicely. It also stretched the ring out a little, but you see how it brought the 2 ends together. Or you can grab it with your nylon jaw pliers and sort of treat it like a jump ring and sort of manipulate it this way. But that worked really, really well. And now this ring is about a size 7.5, 7 3/4, almost 8. I don't think you can see it there, but the 8's right there and the 7's right up there. But I'm happy with this. I wouldn't mess with it anymore. So let me show you now how to do the wraparound ring. For the wraparound ring, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with the large wrap and tap plier and roll it around, all that good stuff. But we're going to come, instead of where the other one we went straight and we had the flat ring blank sort of perpendicular to the pliers, now we are going to come at a really, really sharp angle so that it will come around and pass itself. So first things first, I want to get the beginning bits started like that. Okay. I mean, I can continue on this side or go back to the other, but we're going still, look at that angle that I've got going there as much as I can so that it can pass itself as it comes around. And I'm just going to keep the whole thing on this middle barrel of the plier. Oops, got a little out of shot there. Here we go, bring it around, and that last bit, got it. Okay, so if there's any sort of fixing that you need to do here, and yes, it's kind of an odd shape, but once we get it on the ring mandrel, we're going to be able to straighten it out. If there's any sort of like finagling, you can grab it with your nylon jaw pliers and move it out a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right on the ring mandrel so I can start doing that. So I need to get that little tip down a little. This is going to flatten out. It's a little bit at a weird angle. Let's see if you can see that. See that gap there? So just like before, I'm going to hold it with my ring mandrel. Hold it on my ring mandrel with my hand and tap away. Now you see, just by tapping this one, it flattened it and had it sort of line up next to the other one, which is exactly what I was hoping for. I just hit that part so hard that I sort of slid it down the ring mandrel. It made it a little bit bigger, and you can see it's spread weird. So I can try to come in with my nylon jaw pliers, a little slippery here, and grab both ends and squeeze. And there we go, it brought it back up. So this is actually looking pretty good. This is a really long one, so it makes like a 8.5 to 10 size ring. It's pretty big. If this was a size I wanted to keep it, then great. If I wanted it bigger, now that I have it this great shape, the shape is great, I can go ahead and really grab it and pull it down my ring mandrel, and it will make it bigger. So now it's quite a bit bigger. I can also tap it down with my nylon mallet, and that's what you'll do with the other ring as well. I'll show you that in a sec. So that's quite a bit bigger. Yeah, that slides on a lot bigger. So just keep tapping down until it gets to the size you want. I'm just going to move that open a little because I wanted those to overlap a little bit less. There we go. Once it's on the size that I really like, I'm going to tap for a little bit just to harden it, to set it into place. Again, this would be, if I was at my bench, I would have this in a clamp. Actually, I have a hole in my bench where I shove this so I can have my table supporting it here and then me holding it here. It's kind of nice. Okay, so that guy is done. Now let's show, if you wanted to make this one, I didn't show you, but now that we're back on this Brave one, the first one we made, if you wanted to make that bigger, again, don't pry it open with your hands because that's like pulling open a jump ring. It will distort. Just tap down with your plastic mallet. See how it's stretching out there? So it's actually making it bigger. There's a point where I think this opening can be too large. It just gets uncomfortable. It can almost kind of pinch you, but this size wouldn't bother me. And that, by tapping it down, is now, it looks to be about an 8.5. So now I would just polish it up. And look at that. It's just got all gunky from me holding it. I had some lotion on my hands. Shine them up. So pretty. Shine this guy up. You can see the difference there. And that's how you do it. It's really, really, really fun. You can also make these, now my hands are all dirty. You can also make these from sterling flat wire. So consider that. Sterling's a little bit harder to bend, but totally doable. Just cut it to the length needed for your ring and maybe trim the edges and file them round like this before you shape it. Have fun.